So what hope then lies in when we have these sort of incidents? Because from the way it's looking, in the next 4 years, if we don't tackle it now, we'll get the same problem again.
I tell you that some of these challenges that we're facing now, you know, we faced them like we all agreed. We faced them in 2011, we faced them in 2015, and we are still facing them now. Like you said, if we don't tackle them appropriately, we'll still face them even 8 years from now. And so, that's why I am saying that from now on, Section 50, subsection 2, empowers the Commission to prosecute, take up the prosecution of these matters. The police investigate, they are your cases, you are the complainant. They investigate and submit a report to you. You take up the prosecution. Even if you can't prosecute, but use certain persons to show example. We've seen senators stand trial in this country. We've seen, you know, former governors. So it won't be out of place if after investigation you actually discovers that, yes, truly, your officers were threatened on the field by, you know, winners of election or would-be winners, to serve as a deterrent to others, to know that truly the Commission means business and the Commission is not ready to compromise standards.
Do you think the Commission is even, permit me to use the word, scared or afraid to take up these?
At this point, also, I would also want to maybe...
Are they at the mercy of the political elite?
Not really, but to some extent, because also if you look at the way we refer to the Waste Panel report in passing, but we forget that that report was to strengthen the independence of the Commission. As we speak, the Commission is just independent, you know, in their name, but in action and in deed, they are not independent. And so when you have a Commission that is not independent, to some extent also you will still have, you know, some form of interference, a situation where the president says, well, I am going to, after this, I'm going to set up, you know, a panel to investigate the chairman to, you know, that also sends some signals, you know, for a commission that is supposed to be independent. And also, how are some of the resident electoral commissioners appointed? How are some of these officers appointed? Including, you've heard also in some cases that some ad hoc staffs, you know, they were nominated by politicians. These are staffs who are supposed to carry out independent, you know, processes and the actions for the Commission. So in all of this, when you put all of this together, you'll find out that our attitude to election, we're truly not ready for a transparent electoral process. And so the Commission also, when you look at it largely, look at the politicians, attitude of politicians, and then the lackadaisical attitude in some cases, most especially such as this, you know, on the part of the Commission, I would strongly blame the Commission for not being able to protect, you know, one of their own. Yeah. Because lastly, sorry, everyone talked about, you know, the security synergy between the Commission and the security agencies. You know that the primary responsibility of conducting this election rests squarely, and others are just providing services, you know, that is required by you. And so, you know, in some cases also they are going to be lackadaisical, they are going to be, you know, laid back. And so you need to set rule of engagement. And so that once the rule of engagement are set, so when you're assessing, you know, the general overview, you know where and where, you know, those your collaborators or those you are synergizing with, you know where and where they failed you.
Maybe
you
we should
we need
this
to take this to Abuja. To General Sekhaigbe and Mr. Onwagu there. Now, this has happened. What's the implication of this? Because there has to be some form of deterrence. If someone realizes that this happened and there is no consequence to it, this kind of situation can fester. What should the security, what should we, the Nigerians, hear tomorrow morning or later today that has happened as a result of this raising of alarm, which has come twice in a single day? What should first the security forces or the police do about this? Second, how should INEC react to this?
General had, you know, stated in clear terms that there was a breach of security. my brother Laboros was doing a lot of work around how INEC would have intervened, and I was just thinking in my head, in the place where that was going on, there are security agents. Those security agents in the security architecture for elections, you are supposed to have armed policemen few meters away from that environment. Then within that place, you have unarmed security men, and then in the outer layer you have soldiers. You could connect. You can call if there is danger, even if the resident electoral commissioner, I'm sure, will be within that same environment. We didn't see the picture of what was happening outside of that perimeter, meaning that even if what you are going to do is a post-mortem of what happened in that situation, that breach is real. It takes us to a very important point that I talked about. We are not interested in oversighting the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security. In the in 2015 election, we were preparing. Somebody went to Chatham House and said that there is a need for us to postpone election because of security issues. No conversation happened. We postponed that election. We went to Edo State. While we were in Edo State, the DIG operations of the Nigerian Police Force, the DSS, the state director of the DSS, the INEC chairman, national commissioners were in a stakeholders meeting when a commissioner, assistant commissioner of police, announced or suggested to INEC that they should postpone the election in Edo. It was postponed. We didn't take up that conversation at that point in terms of who leads. The amendment to the 2015 Electoral Act now again responded by saying that the INEC should be the lead in terms of directing election security. Those issues are things that we ordinarily, in my view, should engage more seriously. Once these people have lack of coordination, you have interagency rivalry as to who should even respond, who is the one whose responsibility, and we have blackmailed the military out of any involvement. They have no business in elections. So even when issues that are this serious amounts, people just watch it. But finally, for me, is what is our attitude as a people to crimes that are committed during election? It is significant. Look at vote buying, for instance. The citizens do not consider it a crime. The law enforcement agents do not consider it a crime. We explain it away with poverty. We say, oh, the reason people do commit crime is because they are poor, you know. And then when you look at the law that my legal brother is talking about, the laws on electoral crimes are, you leave the court with a lot of discretion. If you check vote buying, in certain places it is 12 months or 100,000 naira and or. When you play with these things, the crafters of these laws,
I guess we have to leave it there.
They can even pay.
Mr. Ezenwanwago, I guess we have to leave it there. We need to go back to the studios for the news. But we must really thank you for sticking it out with us, Mr. Ezenwanwago. He's been with us since 11 p.m. That's 5 hours of, back and forth about these issues emanating out of the presidential election. Thank you so very kindly. We have to let you go now. Mr. Ezenwanwago is the chairman, Partners for Electoral Reform, and he's been talking to us on the verdict. Thank you very much, Mr. Ezenwanwago.